Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so a warm good morning to respected Principal Madam, Rajeshri Madam, our respected speaker, Mr. Ninad Saran, and all the audience for the day. I, Sakshi Kataria, is the host for today's webinar on Resume Remarkable. I request all of you to keep yourselves on mute and post the questions in chat box we'll take at the end of the session. Today, we have our speaker, Mr. Ninad Saran. He would be covering what information to include in your resume, how to use formal language, how to craft your bullet points using achievements oriented language, how to write an impressive executive summary or profile statement that gives the recruiter and living manager a real sense of who you are as a person. Moving ahead, today, in absence of our respected principal madam, I request Dr. Rajeshri Hillikal madam, HOD of Pharmaceutics, to share her welcome remarks on today's webinar and to convey the perspective of IAQC with respect to placement cell. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, Sakshi. Uh, Dear Mr. Ninad, my fellow colleagues and dear students, a very warm welcome for today's session on resume writing. Before we proceed with the session, let me share with Mr. Ninad Satam a short introduction about VS College of Pharmacy. I suppose I'm audible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah. So Vivekananda Education Society's College of Pharmacy was established in the year 2007 under the guidance of Sri B.L. Bulaniji, our founder trustee of VS Society. The institute was established with a mission to work closely with the industry and work on solving the problems for the industry. The institute is headed by our principal, respected Professor Dr. Supriya Shide since July 2009, and it works with the vision to create competent pharmacy professionals to positively impact healthcare of the society. At present, the institute conducts B.Pharm course with 100 intake and M.Pharm course in 3 disciplines, that is quality assurance, pharmaceutics and pharmaceutical chemistry. The institute also conducts PhD program in the branches of pharmaceutics, pharmaceutical chemistry, and all these programs are affiliated to University of Mumbai. The institute is approved by All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE, Pharmacy Council of India, Government of Maharashtra, and it is also recognized under Section 2F12B of UGC Act 1956. The institute has been awarded as Best Industry Linked Pharmacy Institute in 2018 in AICTE CIS survey and has received platinum ranking in 2019. Westcop is one of the top 7 pharmacy institute at national level to receive this platinum ranking in 2019. The institute is participating in NIRF ranking and we have been consistently in the band of 51 to 70 for pharmacy institutions since 2017. Institute has received NBA accreditation for the B.Pharm course and up to 2022 as per the OB system. National Center for Quality Management has awarded the institute with top ranks in 2 consecutive years in the context of Best Educational Quality Enhancement Team. The institute is set up its Institute Innovation Cell in year 2018 as per the directives of MHRD Government of India. And we are glad to share that our institute has received 4-star rating. The institute is recognized as scientific and industrial research organization by Department of Science and Industrial Research, DSIR, that is Government of India. To strengthen the industry institute linkages, the institute has signed MOUs with various companies like Procter & Gamble, Aquadry Pharma, Veradox Healthcare, B&B Pharma, Adroid Biomed, Cerelia, Nutritech, Bulani Engineering Corporation, Supervet Clinics and Diagnostics. And institute has a joint collaborative research center with Merck Specialties, now as Procter & Gamble since 2014. And till date, institute has received grants of about rupees 2 crore 7 lakhs 5,000 from government agencies and various other industries. The institute has to its credit 3 international collaborations with University of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, University of Lancashire, UK, University of Strathclyde for the projects on nanotechnology. Apart from that, there are many other activities which go on in the college like campus to corporate, PHO, Rotaract. Regarding the role of the internal quality assurance cell, the internal quality assurance cell is involved in various activities, student placement being one of the prime importance. In order to impart the skills of writing the resume effectively, the session is organized and I request the students to take maximum benefit of this opportunity. We are fortunate enough to have Mr. NINAD SATAM as a speaker for this session and students can get their doubts clear from him. Thank you very much. We can proceed with the next part. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your motivating speech and giving us the right direction to start with today's session. Without further ado, I now request Mr. Reshma Pore, ma'am, Assistant Professor and Placement in Charge, to introduce our speaker for the day, Mr. Ninad Satin. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sakshi. Good morning, Rajeshi Madam, all the faculty members, and my dear students. It's a pleasure introducing Mr. Ninad Satam to all of you. Mr. Satam holds a B.Pharm degree from the Bombay College of Pharmacy, Kalina, Mumbai. He has done his MS in Pharmaceutical Sciences from Northeastern University, Boston, USA, and Executive Pharmaceutical MBA from NMIMS, Mumbai. Currently, he is also preparing for the PMP exam. Mr. Satam has more than 13 years of rich experience in clinical research and medical quality and compliance. He has worked in the clinical research and industry with the global CROs like IQAC and COANS and global biopharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, P&G Health, and Bristol Myers Squibb in the past. He has received multiple awards uh, for the academic and professional excellence. Currently, Mr. Satam is working as a global clinical trial manager, managing RWE, Phase 4 registry, and II studies for Abbott Global. Today, Mr. Satam is conducting a career guidance session titled Post-B.Pharm, The Road Ahead. In this session, he will be discussing in detail about career options after B.Pharm and M.Pharm, interview techniques, body language, email etiquettes, and communication skills. I request all of you not to miss this opportunity to listen to case study and real-world scenario of pharma industry. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Satam to VS College of Pharmacy. I'm sure you all are going to have a very lively and interactive session. I now request Mr. Satam to take charge of this online dais and start with the session.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sakshi mic off.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope I'm audible, Sakshi and Reshma, ma'am.
Yes, yes. You're
Okay.
completely audible.
Fantastic, fantastic. So
Yes, Mr.
thank you.
Satam, you're audible.
Thank you, ma'am. So first of all, thank you, Shidey, ma'am. Thank you, Reshma, ma'am, Irleka, ma'am, and Anita. Anita is my colleague from Bombay College of Pharmacy. So thank you so much for inviting and giving me this opportunity to present today about how you need to work on your CV and how you need to apply to different jobs in pharmaceutical industry in India. So thank you so much for that. So before I begin, I would like to give a quick disclaimer that all the opinions that I'll be sharing with you today are my own opinions and has nothing to do with the college, has nothing to do with the company that I work with, and has nothing to do with the past companies that I've worked with. Okay, so this is completely my opinion, and based on my experience, I'll be sharing with you how to write a remarkable resume. All right, so let me quickly share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen, Sakshi.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Visible.
Okay. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, let us quickly, as in I think you all have already understood the ground rules, but let me also quickly clarify some of the ground rules that I want you to. So you can put your microphone on mute and you can definitely speak. We'll have a Q&A session at the end of the, at the end of the call, and we can discuss all the questions. So keep on posting all your questions in the chat box so that at the end, I can take up each and every question individually and I can definitely try and answer to the best of my experience. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Keep your microphone on mute for now. You can stop sharing your video because otherwise what will happen is I would definitely love to see everyone's face, but what happens is it takes up the call's bandwidth. So if you can keep your video off right now, and at the end, yeah, when we are having the Q&A session, you can definitely switch it on. Okay, so thank you for that. And please do not waste your time recording the session. Please do not take screenshots. Please do not try and write everything from the slides, because this session is being already recorded, using Google Meet, and I'll be sharing my presentation with Reshma ma'am post the session. Okay, so please do not waste your time taking screenshots or writing down everything from the slides. Just pay attention and listen to what I'm trying to convey. Okay, so just pay attention to it. That is all that I need you to do for the next 1 hour. Okay, and please add your questions to the chat box. I'll definitely try to answer each one of them at the end of the session at 12 o'clock. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so let's quickly move to the session. I believe every one of you must be using some of the other phones. I mean, it will be either iPhone or an Android phone. So what I want you guys to do, if you're using your phones, please take out your phones right now. On your phones, if you're using an Android phone, go to Play Store. If you're using an iPhone, go to your App Store. And on both these stores, I want you to search for ET Health World. It's Economic Times Health World. Okay, so go on your Play Stores, go on your App Stores. Okay, search for ET Health World, download it, install it on your mobile phone. And what I want you to do is read at least 3 articles every day. There will be news, there will be newsletters, there will be a lot of articles posted about our healthcare industry, not just locally for India, but also globally. So what I want all you students to do is, if you inculcate this habit of reading minimum 3 articles daily from ET Health World, I can assure you that you can crack any interview in this world, be it, in sales, marketing, finance, or, quality assurance or quality control. You can definitely do that. You'll be updated with the latest updates, from all around the world. So keep on reading. Reading will definitely help you to learn more about, different departments in the pharma company. So read 3 articles for the next 21 days. That will definitely create an habit. And once you have that habit, you will, that will ensure that, you always open this app and you read articles from this particular app. This is only catering to the healthcare industry. It has nothing to do with other news. So you can be rest assured that, this is only related to pharma. Okay, so ET Health World is the app. I want you guys to read at minimum 3 articles daily from this app. Okay, just to give you a quick background, I think ma'am has already given a quick introduction, but yes, my name is NINAD SATAM. I done my bachelor's from Bombay College of Pharmacy, master's from Northeastern USA. I've also done an executive pharma MBA from NIMS. Currently preparing from my PMP exam from the PMI Institute, working as a global CTM in Abbott, currently on Tech Observer's payroll. I've worked in past with Pfizer India, BMS in India, PNG in India. I believe PNG Health already has a laboratory setup above your lab. And I've also worked with Covance and IQAC. These are 2 global CROs. Total years of experience, 13 years. I love reading business and technology articles in my free time. I also prefer non-fictional novels. And I play table tennis. I mean, that is what I love to do during my free time. I'm a lifetime member of BCP alumni and the ISCR. ISCR is a Society for Clinical Research, where the different stakeholders come in together, and we convey our decisions, our opinions, and feedbacks about the new regulations that come up via DCGI or CDSCO. Okay. Let me move to a next slide. Okay, so before I begin the session, let me quickly give you a quick story of a BCP alumni. And she was one of my line managers, one of my bosses in the previous companies. So she did her bachelor's from KMK, Kundani College of Pharmacy from Mumbai. Then she did her master's from Bombay College of Pharmacy from Mumbai. And then she did her PhD from ICT, that's UD City in Mumbai. Okay, after her completing her PhD, she did her medical writing in one of the companies, and after completing her medical writing, she thought that this is what she doesn't. I mean, she's not she's not liking what she's doing, so she moved to quality assurance. She spent quite some time, like 2-3 years in quality assurance, but she thought that she's still not happy with what she's doing, so she moved to clinical research. And today, after spending 15 to 20 years in the clinical research industry, she is at a global director level in a clinical operations domain in the clinical operations department. Okay, so what the moral of the story is, keep on learning. If you're doing B.Pharm, if you're doing M.Pharm, if you're doing PhD, and if you're still not sure what you like to do, keep on exploring, keep on learning. Okay, and keep on exploring different jobs. So, she tried doing medical writing, she did quality assurance, but she ended up liking clinical research, and now she's at a director at a global level in one of the pharma companies in Mumbai. Okay, so keep on learning, keep on exploring, and you will definitely find a job that you love to do. Okay, so that's the moral of the story. Okay, let's do a quick icebreaker. There are 11 brands on this particular slide. There are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. 11 brands on this particular slide. If anybody of you knows all 11 brands, feel free to unmute yourself and tell me all the 11 brands in the chronological order. If you know all 11, there are 11 here, and they are very simple ones. You must be using them on a day-to-day basis. You must have already seen their advertisements on TV. So if you know, the all the 11 brands, feel free to unmute. Or if you know still, at least around 8 to 10 of them, feel free to unmute and let me know the brands that you see on the screen.
Hello, sir.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know all, but I can answer
Yes, yes,
most of them.
absolutely.
First is Amrut
Fantastic.
Anjal. Second is Jandu
Correct,
Balm, I
absolutely right.
guess.
This
Below
one?
that, there is Listerine, and besides that, there is Eno, Dettol.
Correct,
The
correct.
bottle looks like it is of Dabur.
This one?
In the top right,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
in the top right, there is
Correct,
Volini.
correct,
And in the in bottom left, I guess this is Pediasure or something like that.
correct,
Not sure.
correct. And these three, the green one, golden, and red. The orange one, this one.
Strepsils.
Correct. And this one?
Revital.
Correct. And the last one?
Isabel.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so the reason why I asked you this question was these are our day-to-day brands. Okay, all of you, or our relatives, our parents, or somebody, our friends, everybody must have used these brands, even without even looking at the complete picture, as in even without looking at the names of what these brands are. Your brain still remembered what these brands are for and what are they used for. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you here is all of us, all of us here are brands. We all are brands. You need to establish yourself in the pharma industry, be it R&D, be it quality assurance, be it manufacturing, sales, marketing, finance. You will need to create your own brand. So that so if tomorrow somebody asks, if what does Sakshi is known for, what does somebody else is known for, so you need to be identified immediately by the skills that you have, by the knowledge that you have gained, and by the experience that you have gained. Okay, so remember that when you're buying any of these brands or any products online on Amazon, Flipkart, or let's say any of the cosmetic products on Nykaa, you always look for the features, right? You always look for the customer reviews, as in who has used it, what is their feedback. So remember that the feedback and the reviews are more like your recommendations, or the references, or whoever your professors, whether they're giving you good references that he or she was doing well in her studies, is has done well in extracurricular activities, has really done well in any of the college projects. Okay, so remember to try and do that. Create a brand for yourself so that people remember you. So even after, like, see, 100 years, all these brands, we still remember them, right? So create yourself as a brand. Remember that you yourself are a brand. You will have to create your own knowledge, you'll have to create your own experience, you'll have to create your own learning, and ensure that everything that is captured in your CV. Okay, so remember, you are a brand. Your CV should be like a brand identity. When you're sending out your CV, it has to ensure that it says something about you which is unique to you. It should not be something that is similar. You should not be copy pasting everything from your friends or colleagues CV. It should be absolutely unique. So that is the main objective of showing this particular slide. Okay, so even before we begin the session, let me quickly tell you how a pharma company looks like. You must have learned it during your 4 years of B.Pharm or during your M.Pharm, but just understand how a pharma company works. Okay, when a pharma company, let's say for example, Sakshi wants to start a pharma company, what she will first do is she will get into R&D. This R&D can also be outsourced. She will decide on a therapeutic area, then she will get into R&D. She will try and identify a molecule that is required to solve a problem, or to solve an indication, or to solve a disease, or to solve something that is unique problem, to the different areas in the healthcare industry. So she'll first create an R&D department. Once you have an R&D, you will go into clinical trials. You have identified your molecule, so now you want to test it. You will do preclinical studies. After preclinical studies, you will go to clinical trials. You will do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 RWE studies, that is real world evidence studies. And once you have done your phase 3A, 3B studies, your product will be ready to be marketed. You will get an approval from, let's say, US FDA, DCGI, or the Japanese FDA, or from the EMA. Once you get that approval, you will be ready to manufacture. You can either do it manufacturing by yourself, or you can do it via different suppliers, and you can have a contracted or a third party manufacturing company. So once you have manufactured the product by using your own factory, by a third party manufacturing, by using licensing partners, now you are ready to ship your product to your warehouses. Okay, so your warehouses are called as carrying and forwarding agents. Remember that, CFA. Okay, a company has their own CFA, carrying and forwarding agents, where the product which is being manufactured, be it a tablet, be it a capsule, or be it a syrup, it will be kept in the CFA. The CFA will be based out of, either near the manufacturing unit or in different states. And from the CFA, it is then transferred to wholesalers. So these wholesalers will be based out of different states, or if you want to export it to different countries, it will go to different countries, the wholesalers in different countries. From the wholesalers, remember that it goes to a super stockist, then to a stockist, or either it's from the from the CFA, it directly goes to government agencies, it goes to government hospitals, it goes to BMC hospitals, and from there, from the retailer or from the hospital, it finally comes to the consumer. Okay, so in pharma industry, remember these two terms, customers and consumers. Okay, for us, for pharma companies, the customers are the doctors, because doctors are the ones who are going to prescribe our products. They are going to prescribe our brands. So doctors are the customers for a pharma company. The consumers, the ones who are consuming the tablets, consuming the capsules, consuming the syrup, are the patients. Okay, customers are doctors for a pharma company, and consumers are the patients. Okay, so just remember how a pharma company works. After that, let me quickly give you a background about how a value chain looks like in a pharma company. If you plan to get into pharma MBA, they will definitely teach you more in detail about what a value chain looks like in a pharma company. But this is just to give you a background. Once you're applying for a pharma job, this will definitely help you. So remember that the four main pillars of a pharma company are manufacturing, okay, HR, finance, and sales and marketing. Okay, these are the four main pillars. Without manufacturing, you won't have a product. Without finance, you won't have the funding. You won't have anything to manufacture. You won't have the money to manufacture. Without HR, you won't have the right people to do the job. And without sales and marketing, you won't be able to sell your products. So these are the four main pillars of a pharma company. Now you'll ask, what do the rest of the departments do? So the rest of the departments, like regulatory affairs, pharmacovigilance, that is drug safety, clinical research, medical affairs, medical information, all these other departments are supportive functions. Okay, these are supportive functions. The four main pillars remain the same: manufacturing, finance, HR, marketing, and sales. So these are the four main pillars. So once we consider all of them in a company, then a pharma company adds their profit margin. Okay, so once the product is ready, it's packaged, the MRP has been decided, sales and marketing has decided a strategy on how to sell it, and then we have identified where to sell it, which country to sell it. Then the pharma company will add a 15-20 margin. This is the profit margin which is added, and then we have the final MRP for which it goes out to the market. Okay, so just remember the value chain. At every stage, value is being added. At manufacturing stage, value is being added. Finance stage, HR stage, sales and marketing stage, value is being added. What I mean by value is the product is getting better and better. So the manufacturing might be only for getting the formulation ready. Then you have the finance team about deciding the MRP. The marketing and sales team would decide on how to promote it to the doctors, to the hospitals. So and then we add the profit margin, and then we sell it to the final retailers and to the wholesalers, to the stockists, and to the retailers. Okay, so just remember there's a value chain involved, in the pharma industry. Okay, and before we move to the next slide, just quickly giving you an idea about how a pharma company works, or for that matter any company works in any industry. When you join a company, you will join as a trainee or a fresher or an intern. Okay, so you will be at the bottom of the pyramid, the bottom of the flow chart. Okay, you will be at the level of employees. Now once you have spent enough time in the company, at least around 2 to 3 years in the company, you will be hired as a manager. So you become a manager. You can be a functional manager, or you can be a line manager. Line manager would be handling multiple employees. Functional manager can be like manager in marketing, manager in finance, manager in QA, manager in QC, manager in PV, manager in regulatory, manager in IPR, that is intellectual property. So you can be definitely become a manager in like 3 to 5 years of time. Once you have spent around 5 to 10 years, like around 15, 20 years, then you become an associate director, or vice president in the respective domains like finance, production, operations, marketing. Above that would be a company secretary. Company secretary would be the one who will be handling all the finances with the help of CAs. So the CAs and CS, they are the ones who are handling the company's finance, the pharma company's finance. Above them is the president or the managing director or the CEO. Okay, so if you have watched Shark Tank USA, Shark Tank Australia, or if the current Shark Tank India, which is going on Set TV, the Sony TV, this is how what they talk about. This is what they talk about, how a company runs, who is the CEO. So every time the shark asks the question about who is the CEO, he is trying to understand that who's the person who's controlling and who's the decision maker of the company. Okay, so remember there's always a president, a managing director, or a CEO in a pharma company who will be taking the main decisions. Above the president or the managing director or the CEO would be the board of directors, and above these board of directors would be the stockholders. So if you're buying shares, if you've seen the ads of Zerodha, or if you've seen the ads of different mobile applications where you're allowed to buy shares online, and if you've already created a demat account, you're buying shares of different pharma companies like Pfizer, Dr. Reddy's, Sun Pharma, then Cipla, then you are holding your stockholders for that pharma company. Remember that. So you are shareholders. Okay, so this is just like a quick hierarchy of how a pharma company looks like. Okay, then moving on to the next slide. Okay, so with that background, let us come to the agenda for our today's session. Our today's session, I'll be mainly quickly focusing about global pharma industry, how the global pharma industry looks like. I'll also touch upon how an Indian pharma industry looks like, what are the current regulatory updates in India by DCG and by CDSCO. I'll give you a more detailed background about what are the different career options after B.Pharm. We will also look at how to write a good CV and how to do a good and excellent job search, so to ensure that we get called for those interviews. I'll also describe how different interview techniques looks like, because I've been a line manager in the past, and I can definitely tell you how different interviews are conducted. And we can also look at what are the communication skills and how we need to communicate before an interview, during an interview, and after an interview. Okay, so with that, let me quickly go to the global pharma industry. Okay, so this is a slide which tells you about the revenue of pharma companies, the multinational pharma companies globally. These figures are in US billion dollars for 2021. These figures might not be the correct figures. There might be correct figures from IQVIA, but just to give you a perspective that if you plan to go for a job in R&D in the future with any pharma company, be it a multinational company or be it an Indian company like Sun Pharma, Cipla, Biocon, Dr. Reddy's, please try and see that the company is spending good amount of money in R&D, has good pipeline for new products, and is willing to spend more on R&D in the future. If that is the case, I would definitely recommend you and suggest you that go for that pharma company which is spending good amount of money in R&D. Because if you want to grow in R&D, if you want to be do a master's, or if you want to do a PhD in the future, you should invest in a company which is spending more on their R&D. Okay, so this is just to give you a background, and this is just to give you a numbers. Do not remember the numbers, but just understand that if you want to get into a job in the future in R&D, go for a company which is spending good amount of time and money and energy on doing R&D. Okay, so Roche has been spending good amount of time. Roche, Novartis, AbbVie, and J&J, Merck, Pfizer, BMS, and Sanofi. So these are the top few companies who have been spending good amount of money and their time and money on R&D. Okay, so if you want to apply to them in the future, it will definitely help. Okay, that was just to give you a background of the different MNCs. Coming to the Indian pharma industry, there is an hyperlink that I've created. So if you want to get a update about the exact what has happened in the Indian pharma industry till date, till starting from 2013 till 2021, this is an hyperlink. This is an ISCR hyperlink that I've created. What you can do is go to ISCR's website and check the regulatory updates tab. In the regulatory updates tab, you will find all the latest orders or notices that have been posted by DCGI or CDSU till date. Okay, everything has been posted on their website. So you will find everything till date. What were the notices? What have been the changes? What have been the new regulations that have come up in the Indian pharma industry? Okay, so just to give you a quick background on the history of Indian pharma industry, we had our DNC Act which came up in 1940. Post that, we had our Pharmacy Act which came up in 1948. Then we had our Indian Patents and Design Act in 1970, but this was just the process patent. There was no product patent after that. In 1995, we had the DPCO, and the DPCO order, the Drug Price Control Order, keeps on getting updated. You might have to check the DPCO website. You might have to check the CDSO website about the latest DPCO order. A DPCO, what this means is the pricing of products in India is being controlled by our ministry, and there are organizations who control that. Okay, so just remember that this will help you during your interview and also during writing your CV. After that, after 1995, there was in 2005, there was India became TRIPS compliant. So there was a change and there was a new regulation which came in. After this, there was product patent which was introduced to India. So 2005 onwards, all the new MNCs and the products that they are launching in India come under product patent. Okay, so they cannot be copied immediately, and unless there is like a compulsory license under para 11 of our Indian regulation, that might allow them, but that also will be challenged by the multinational companies in the court of law. Okay, so just remember that this is the chronology and the history of how exactly our Indian pharma industry has evolved over a period of 50 years. Okay, with that background, let me quickly tell you about how the regulatory system looks like. Just remember, this will mainly help you during your interviews. In our Indian regulatory system, there are different ministries in India. Okay, there is a ministry of Health and Welfare, Ministry of Science and Technology, Chemical and Petrochemicals, Commerce and Industry, and Environment and Forest. Okay, and every ministry has different organizations or institutions under them. Okay, so under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, there is CDSCO, and there might be some changes that might have happened to the org chart of these particular ministries. So if you want more details, feel free to go and search for these ministries on Google, and you will get more details. Just to give you a quick highlight that there are 5 ministries, and under each ministry there are different organizations like CDSCO, there's ICMR, there's NPPA, the National Pricing Authority of India, there's DOP, the Department of Pharmaceuticals, there's Patent Office, there's DGFT, and there's also Controller General of Patents, and there's Department of Biotechnology. Okay, so just remember there are different ministries. Under different ministries there are different organizations, institutions who run the pharma industry in India. If you want more details, feel free to go on Google and definitely search for their names, these acronyms, and you will get all the details. Okay, so now coming to the 5 key challenges that our Indian pharma industry is facing. Since we export most of our generic products to US FDA, our facilities in India, the generic manufacturing facilities in India, are being inspected by US FDA. So we are under a tremendous pressure that we have to follow their regulations because we are exporting most of our products and formulations to US. Then we are also under pricing regulations by our government, because no other country has a pricing cap on the products that they manufacture. But in India, we do have the NPPA, and that caps the pricing for generic products. There is also an issue of pharma fake products, the fake products which are already in the market in our pharma industry. So we do have that as well. That's another challenge that we are facing in pharma industry in India. Another issue is lack of trained HR. So we train human resource, as in we do have good pharmacy colleges, we would have good institutions. However, there are no institutions or training institutes where you are being trained on how to do the job, how to do a PV job or a marketing job. Unless you do an MBA or like a certificate course in that particular domain, you won't really know how exactly that particular department works in a pharma industry. industry. So that's one of the challenge that we are facing. Also, the last challenge that we face is we are a health insurance country, so that everybody has to buy an health insurance. Also, we pay for our medicines. We pay for our medicines from our own pocket. Okay, so our health insurance does not cover the medicines that we purchase. So that is another problem that we are facing. All other countries, they do have health insurance, but they do not have, we do not have the health insurance concept where the health insurance covers our medicines that we buy. The health insurance only covers for the stay in the hospital and the medicines which are required for the stay in the hospital. Okay, if you want to go, buy from a chemist, you'll have to pay from your own pocket. So that is another issue that we are facing. So just to give you another quick background of it, how a pharma industry looks like. See, API is the active pharmaceutical ingredients. China is the biggest market of manufacturing APIs. They sell the APIs to us as in to India. We are the biggest market of creating and making formulations. So we make formulations, and with those formulations we export to semi and unregulated markets. Semi markets would be like Brazil, although Brazil also has Anvisa. There are unregulated markets like South Africa, or the Middle East, and the other African countries. They are like very very semi-regulated. They're not like highly regulated. The highly regulated markets would be US, UK, Europe, and the Japanese market. They are very highly regulated markets. And then there is CRAMS. Okay, CRAMS is contract research and manufacturing services. This is another sector which is booming in India. And finally, we have the NCEs. Those are the new chemical entities. So the multinational companies, they do their pharma research. During their R&Ds, they come up with NCEs, that is new chemical entity. This takes around like at least around 8 to 12 years of time, to come to market. And then you have at least around 8 years, to market your product, because your patent period lasts only for 20 years. So remember that for an NCE, this will be the new chemical entity which will be manufactured by a multinational company. Indian companies also do that, but Indian companies more or less come up with, do BAB studies, and they come up with generic products, generic molecules. The current update on Indian pharma industry is there have been ban on FDCs, ban on fixed drug combinations. There have been a lot of FDCs which have been marketed in India without any clinical trials. So because of that, the government has come up with FDCs. They have banned FDCs which were not really relevant to our pharma industry. So they have banned those fixed dose combinations. Remember that there has been UCPMP, Universal Code for Pharmaceutical Marketing Practices in India. So currently there have been regulations that you cannot advertise prescription products on TV. However, you must be seeing advertisements for Gelusil, Digene, Benadryl. All these ads are allowed because they are D2C products, direct to consumer products. So that is allowed in India. However, you cannot have advertisements on TV for prescription products. Then there has been GST in place. Prior to that, there was no GST. Each state had a different kind of a tax concept. But with GST, now we have a state GST and a central GST, and it has standardized the taxing process for India. As in if you want to move your goods from the manufacturing unit to a different state, you will have a standard GST. You won't have to worry about paying taxes to the government. There have been e-pharmacies which have come up. You must have seen advertisements of Kareena Kapoor, MS Dhoni, who have been doing advertisements for Pharm Easy, for Netmeds, for 1mg. Now 1mg has been also bought by Ratan Tata Group. So these are also coming up. So these are updates for our pharma industry, that if you want to plan to take up a job, you can also get a job in e-pharmacies. There are very good companies which are coming up, and if you're very keen on digital marketing, sales, and you are very good at brand making, then definitely you should definitely opt for getting a job in e-pharmacies or into the manufacturing or into the marketing departments of pharma companies. Now there is digital in healthcare. There are many companies which are coming up with mobile application. You must have seen advertisements on the front page of Times of India, like M-Fine. Like M-Fine, as in it's an app where you can have a doctor management. There's Practo, which has come up with doctor management, practice management. What happens there is the doctor is there online. You just have to go online, register, pay the charges, and the consultation will happen online via a mobile app. So digital in healthcare is also very an upcoming domain and upcoming department. If you're really keen on getting into that, you can definitely opt for different courses in digital. You can do certificate courses. You can work for some time in the digital space in a startup, and you can get you can become an expert, or like a subject matter expert in digital in healthcare. Okay. Then another quick update on Indian pharma market. Our Indian pharma market, remember that it's highly fragmented. There are more than 10,000 players, a lot of generic companies in India. It's fiercely competitive. Every molecule that is being produced, for example, simple is paracetamol, and you must have already seen those memes on WhatsApp and Facebook about Dolo 650. So Dolo 650, remember that it's simple paracetamol 650 milligrams. Crocin and Calpol were already there, as in these are the two brands which are already manufacturing paracetamol. These two brands were Calpol and Crocin are from GSK. Dolo 650 is from Microlabs. But remember that being paracetamol, it's a standard generic brand. Everybody is manufacturing that. So if you want to get into a pharma business, remember that your business would be highly competitive. There will be lots of brands, same molecule, different formulations, and they will be competing with you. Okay. Our pharma industry is also very fast growing. It's a low price. We are third in volume in the world, and we are 13th in value globally. We are a self-pay, as we already discussed. We have to pay from our own pockets. We are a branded generics dominated company industry. Branded generics are being sold in India. We have very less of MNC products, which are the innovator products. We are acute dominated, and we are chronic segment is growing faster. Remember this. Acute means like pain, pain segment, which is like headache or like something like that. So like those segments are considered as acute segments. The chronic segments are mainly like something, for example, a diabetes would be considered under the chronic segments. Okay. And it's a local Indian companies dominated. All the companies in India are local Indian companies. The generic companies are dominating the pharma industry. Very high potential, and we are the pharmacy to the world. We export at least around 20% of the generics to the different countries in and around in the US and other countries. With that background, we have seen the global pharma industry. We have seen how our Indian pharma industry looks like. What are the different challenges in Indian pharma industry? So with that, let us come to the career options after B.Pharm. I believe that most of you must be already in your fourth year of B.Pharm, or you're already in the second year of M.Pharm, or you're already doing a PhD. So let us look at what all options do you have after B.Pharm. If you want to go for further studies, there are multiple options that you can opt for. You can go for an M.Pharm, PhD, MS in US. You can also do an MBA in India from NIPER, BITS Pilani, or an MBA institute like Narsi Monji, SIS, or like an IIM or ISB. You can do that. You can also do certificate courses, but that should be mainly from reputed institutes and should be affiliated to the Mumbai University. You can also do project management professional from PMI. You can do a PGDCR. This is postgraduate diploma in clinical research from ACE BCP. You can do it from Tata Hospital. You can do it from ICRI, or there are multiple other institutes to do that. If you want to get into academics, you can get into teaching, become a PhD. You can become a postdoc. You can continue your research doing that. If you want to get into jobs, then you have government jobs like the drug inspector jobs. You have jobs in the state FDA. The state of Maharashtra State FDA's office is in BKC, and you can also become a private consultant. There are many consultants who are doing digital consulting to pharma companies, who are also doing training and training kind of sessions for pharma companies. And then there are private jobs, and we look for different private jobs in the next slides. You can have your own business. You can start your own R&D unit. You can have your own manufacturing unit. You can have your own formulation unit. You can become a distributor, wholesaler, or a stockist with your B.Pharm degree. You can also start your own retail pharmacy store. You can take a franchise of Apollo Pharmacy or Wellness Forever. You can do a legal practice as well. You can do a course from Mumbai University on patents. There are many institutes who are also teaching you on, who will teach you about Indian in IPR, the intellectual property rights, and the pricing, how the pricing is decided. So you can also do those kind of courses. You can become a healthcare entrepreneur. You can also you can do digital marketing courses. There is an institute called as IIDE in Andheri. Mr. Karan Shah I believe is the founder of that institute. He teaches digital marketing, and he also takes training sessions for pharma companies. So you can also do that as well. So digital marketing is another option that you have. You can also have mobile apps and websites. You can, if you're very interested in coding, the ads you must have seen on TV about White Hat Junior and coding. So if you love coding and if you know how to code, you can create a website. You can create a mobile app. A mobile app can be like the 1mg Farm Easy, or like NetMeds. So you can create that. You can also work for these companies. You can become a social media expert. So see, most of the D2C brands, they have their own pages, like own pages on Facebook, own pages on Instagram. They have their own pages on different other websites. So you can become a social media expert by learning digital marketing. Okay, so that's another option that you have after B.Pharm. Another option is advertising. If you love to sell, you can learn more about advertising. You can enroll yourself in different courses with JG School of Arts, or with any other institute which teaches you about commercial arts. So you can get into market advertising as well. And last but not the least, and the most important part, is market research. Remember that for running any business, you need data. For getting the data, you need to do market research, you need to do surveys, you'll have to do primary research, you'll have to do secondary research. Primary research would be like interviewing the people, interviewing the patients, interviewing a closed focus group. There can be secondary research, that like surveys can be done. Now once you have gathered that data, somebody needs to analyze that data, right? So these are the market research people who are doing that. So this can be done by doing a market research course. If you can do you can also do a marketing in you can take up marketing in MBA, and after that you can get into market research companies. So there are many market research companies like IQVIA, there is Ipsos, there is Kantar, there is CMark, there is SMSRC. All these companies are there in the industry right now in India. And if you want to do that, you can definitely take up market research. This is a very lucrative field after an MBA. After doing your MBA in marketing or marketing MBA in finance, you can take up market research. You can get into MBA in marketing as well. So that's another lucrative field. Now let us look at the different options that we saw about after career options after B.Pharm. So let us look at in detail. So for further studies, you have like if you want to go for M.Pharm, you'll have to definitely appear for the exam, the GPAT exam. You'll have 7 specialties like pharmaceutics or pharmacology and the other specialties as well. If you want to do MS, there's MS from NIPER, BITS Pilani, and these are the ones who are offering pharma MBA as well. I believe NIPER also has a pharma MBA, so you can also opt for that. Then there is MS. You want to pursue your MS in US by giving your GRE and TOEFL. You can do that as well. If you want to pursue an MBA, you can do it via CAT or CET in India. There are two institutes in India, in Mumbai, NMIMS and SIS in Nerul and NMIMS in Villeparle. These give you full-time pharma management course. Okay, it's a proper full-time MBA. It's only focused on pharma. You will learn everything about pharma, and the faculty is mainly from the pharma industry who have already been experienced, who have spent around 15-20 years in pharma. So they are the faculty for Naseem Monji and SIS. Okay, you can also do an MBA, like give your GMAT and TOEFL, and you can also go to USA. They can also opt for that kind of an MBA, like a general MBA. And you can also do PGDCR and MSc in clinical research from ACE, ICRI, Tata Hospital. They all have courses in clinical research. If you want to pursue something in clinical research, you can do that as well. Okay. Now, next part after further studies comes academics. If you want to continue your studies and continue with academics and you want to become a lecturer, that is the first step of getting into academics. Then you become an assistant associate professor, you become a professor, you become an HOD of that particular department, you then become a principal, and eventually you become the university chancellor. So that is your hierarchy and that is your chronology of career prospects in academics. After that, if you want to get into jobs, as we already discussed, there are government jobs. You can become a drug inspector. Private pharmaceutical consultants, you cater to the pharmaceutical needs, like digital in marketing for pharma. You become a consultant for that. Or you can also get into insurance sector. You can get into underwriting. You can there are different jobs in underwriting as well. And then there are private jobs. Now let us quickly look at the private jobs which are there in the pharma industry. So in pharma industry, there are different private jobs in R&D. You have jobs in API and formulation. You have jobs in formulation and development, that's F&D. You also have jobs in production and manufacturing in different units in and around Mumbai or in different states, like Baddi, Sikkim, or in Goa. Then you have jobs in QA and QC. There are different jobs, analytical jobs there as well in QC. Then you have pharmaceutical packaging technologies, as in the labeling and the packaging or the carton making. So there are jobs in that sector as well. Okay. Then there are different jobs in clinical research. So if you want to get into clinical research, you will be joining in the industry either at a hospital as a clinical research coordinator, or if you want to join a pharma company or a CRO, you'll be joining as a clinical trial assistant or a clinical research associate. So remember, if you join as a clinical research associate, you'll be traveling most of the time if you become a clinical research associate. The rest of the jobs, which are pretty much desk jobs, 9 to 5 jobs, you won't have to travel a lot. But if you plan to become a CRA, remember that you will have to travel a lot. Okay, so that is in CR. So after CRE, you become a project manager, you become a global project manager, you become a director, head of clinical operations, and then you head the clinical operations team globally. So that is your hierarchy for clinical research. In the regulatory affairs, you can start a job as an associate, a regulatory associate or a regulatory analyst in a pharma company or in a CRO. Then you become a senior associate, then you become an assistant manager, then you head a regulatory affairs department in a pharma company, and you can also become head of government affairs in a pharma company or in a CRO. So those are your career prospects for regulatory affairs. There is PV as well, pharmacovigilance, and there is drugs. So these are synonymous, drug safety and pharmacovigilance. If you are looking for jobs in PV, there are different jobs in different pharma companies as well as in CROs. Also in TCS and Cognizant, they do hire freshers from B.Pharm and BSc. for PV and for drug safety. Now there are different options in medical affairs as well. In medical information, they do hire B.Pharms. They also hire M.Pharms and PhDs for medical affairs and medical information. In medical affairs, basically the medical affairs team will be supporting the marketing team. They'll be supporting the clinical operations team. They'll be supporting the regulatory and PV team. On a different activities or tasks in a pharma company. Medical information is mainly about getting queries from the doctors, from the field. Let's say if any doctor has any query about a product, how a product works, what is the price, what is the indication, how exactly the formulation is made. So he will reach out to the pharma company. So these are the medical information colleagues who are based in the pharma company who will be helping and responding to the doctor. Okay. Then, as we already discussed, sales and marketing, and we also have market research. So we discussed more about this. If you plan to do an MBA, post that you can join a pharma company as a management trainee. Then either you can get into sales and become like a sales director, or you can get into marketing and you become a brand manager. Then you become a group product manager. You become a head of marketing, and then you become the marketing director for the pharma company. If you get into market research, there are different levels. You obviously start at an associate level, and then you grow in the market research company, and at different levels. But there are many options and opportunities available there as well. So market research is another one. Okay, so now that we have seen the global pharma industry, we have seen the Indian pharma industry. We have seen which are the career options that we have after B.Pharm. Let us now quickly look at how to write a good CV, and after writing the good CV, how we do our job search. Okay, now for writing a CV, always remember that the CV should be a 2-page document, or it can be a single page document. Because you are a fresher, it's absolutely fine to have a single page document. Okay, now remember that your name, address, email ID, and contact details should always be there in the top of your CV. Okay, why I'm telling you this is, always remember that the HR has an electronic system, or let's say even a Naukri.com, or any website for that matter, be it LinkedIn. They will run the algorithms. Okay, it's a computer assisted algorithm, where what happens is, if these factors or criteria are not mentioned, the name, address, email ID, contact details are not there on the first page, the computer itself will delete or remove your CV, and your CV will not get shortlisted for the interview. So remember, name, address, email ID, and contact details are a must for your CV. It should always be there on the front page, so that the HR also gets like around max to max 5 to 10 seconds to look at the CV. And if he or she does not find the name, address, email ID, and contact details, your CV will not get shortlisted for the interview. Okay, so ensure that these factors are there in your CV. Skills and capabilities, all the skills that you have learned, the chronology as an education can come first as well, and then you can add the skills and capabilities. That's absolutely fine, because the next bullet point that I have is education. So you can either have education first, and then you can add your skills and capabilities. Skills and capabilities mainly mean that you have good communication skills, good analytical skills, good problem solving skills, good you are able to interact easily. You are very flexible with different stakeholders like the medical, the QA, sales, marketing, finance, procurement, business development. You are able to discuss with them easily. So those skills and capabilities will describe how you will perform on the job. So that can be added to your CV as well. Objective is not a must, but even if you want to add it, feel free to add it. Objective can also be there. It is not like a mandatory to have an objective, but you can still add it. Education is absolutely important. You will definitely have to add your education, but do it chronologically, as in the latest one should be on the top of your CV. So let's say you have done your MBA or M.Pharm or a PhD, then that should come on the top, and then on the second line should be your bachelor's, and below that should be your HSC, and then as in higher secondary, and then below that should be your senior secondary. Okay, so that should be the chronology. The latest one should be on the top, and the last one should be on the bottom. And in the education, you should mention the name of the institute, the year you have passed, and the percentage of the marks that you have gained, or you received for that particular course or for that particular certificate. Okay, so name of the institute, the year you passed from that particular institute, and the percentage or the rank that you have achieved in that particular certificate or that particular course. So that is very important. Experience also matters. If you have conducted any seminar, any session, any conference, anything that you have done in your bachelor's or in your master's or during your PhD, you have conducted a session, you have been a part of IPA, MSB, you have been a part of any other society for pharma, please add that experience to your CV. Okay, then finally comes your achievements and awards. do not mention achievements like you like playing cricket, or you won an award in cricket, or you won an award in a drawing competition, you won an award. So achievement should be something like you won an award for a seminar presentation, you won an award for a poster competition, which was relevant to pharma, relevant to healthcare. The awards should be also relevant, like won an award for a science competition, won an award for a presentation, won an award, for a seminar, won an award for a poster, won an award for creating an abstract, helping your M.Pharms or your PhDs, for writing their thesis or something like that. So the award should be very relevant to pharma, very relevant to healthcare, so that when somebody is reading your CV, he or she should be able to, easily conclude that, okay, this person would be absolutely relevant to the job, and he or she will be definitely be able to do the job correctly, efficiently, and and in a very productive manner. So remember that your CV can be a single page CV or a two-page CV, and you need all the details that are mentioned on this particular slide. Okay, keep on adding your questions to the chat box so that we can discuss everything at the end for sure. Okay, now that we have seen the industry, we have seen which are jobs we have also seen how to write a good CV. Let us quickly look at how to do a job search. Okay, now the first and foremost point in doing a job search is contact your friends, your relatives who are already working in the pharma industry. Okay, speak to them, talk to them, send them a WhatsApp message, send them an SMS, speak to them, send an email, ask them which are the jobs which are there, because they are already working in the pharma industry. They will be definitely be able to help you land the right job. So get in touch with them, get in touch with your VCOP alumni. As Reshma ma'am already, as Irlika madam already mentioned, that this college was already started, I believe, in 2007, and you must be already having, good alumni who has already passed out and working in, or either studying in US, working in US, working in India, working in different countries all around the world. Get in touch with your alumni, speak to them, understand how the industry works. So they will also help you, to get good jobs. So that is another opportunity that you have. You also have LinkedIn and Naukri.com. These are different job portals where you can apply. You can have career consultants. There are career consultants like ABC, there is Michael Page, there is Antal Group. So these are different career consultants. They will definitely, they won't charge you money, but what they will do is they will check your CV, they will forward your CV to the right pharma companies, and they will charge the pharma company once you get hired after the interview, and they will take, that your 1 month salary from the pharma company. So you won't have to worry about them. Okay, so career consultants won't charge you any money. However, there is an option called pharmaceutical recruiters. There are different pharmaceutical recruiters who are also there on LinkedIn. These are the ones who will charge you. They are the ones who will, for to whom you will send your CV. Once you have shared your CV with them, they will definitely guide you on, to apply to the right companies on the basis of your experience and skills and the educations that you have, and they will match it with the job description that has been already posted by different pharma companies. But remember that these pharmaceutical recruiters might charge you. They might charge you a nominal fee like 500,000, 2,000 or 5,000, but that only depends upon which pharmaceutical recruiters with whom you are working. So remember that choose the good recruiters. It should not be paying money to any recruiter who is not going to help you with, getting an interview. So that is very important. So now that we have seen how to write a CV, how to do the job search, now let us look at which pharma companies or which CROs you can apply. I will quickly browse through these slides because these are just the names, and what I'm trying to mention here is where these pharma companies are located. Okay, so we have Sun Pharma in Mumbai. So remember that all the pharma companies that I've mentioned in this slide and then the couple of others, the next slides, their manufacturing unit might be in a different location, be it like Himachal Baddi in Himachal Pradesh, or maybe in Sikkim, or maybe in Goa. So their manufacturing unit might be somewhere else. The locations that I've mentioned here in the second column, these are mainly the corporate headquarter locations. Okay, so if you want to apply for any job like a QAQC job, or an R&D job, or a marketing sales job in the pharma company, these are the corporate office addresses. Okay, and not the manufacturing or the R&D office address. Okay, so Sun Pharma is in Mumbai. We have Cipla in Lower Parel. We have Glenmark. We have Lupin, Alchem, USV, Vocard in Mumbai. Then there are different other companies. Torrent is in Ahmedabad. Dr. Reddy's is in Hyderabad. Biocon is in Bangalore. There is Hetero. It's a good company. There's Piramal in Kurla. There's Mylan. Mylan is basically now Mylan's the generic department, the generic business of Mylan has now merged with Pfizer's generic business, and the new company is called Viatris or Viatris. Okay, so the new company is different now, and we have a different entity. Okay, and the last is Reliance. Reliance also has got into life sciences. They have an office in Mahape in Navi Mumbai. Okay, Then there are pharmaceutical MNCs in India as well. We have J&J's office. This is a corporate head office in Jogeshwari East. We have Novartis in BKC. They were earlier in Worli. They very recently they shifted to BKC. Pfizer also has an office in BKC. It's in Capital Tower on 18th and 19th floor. GSK has an office in Worli. Worli very next to the I believe the All India Radio office. And there is BMS office in Indiabulls in Elphiston. It's called Prabhadevi now. Amgen has an office in Andheri East. This is a corporate office. Gilead is also a life science. These two are American companies. Gilead has an office in Gurgaon. Okay. Then the other pharmaceutical MNCs that are there in India are AstraZeneca is in Bangalore, Roche is in BKC, and there's Novo Nordisk who specializes in diabetes in Bangalore. There's Boehringer Ingelheim. This is a German company. They have an office in Hallmark Plaza in Bandra East. Abbott is in BKC. Abbott is a branded generics company. It's a 100-year-old company. We are in BKC. So then there's MSD. MSD is in MSD very recently moved from Platina Tower to WeWork office in BKC. So they have changed their offices. This is not in Platina anymore. This is in WeWork. WeWork has a different building in BKC. And Merck is in Vikhroli. Okay. So there are two Merck. This is Merck Sharp and Dome. MSD is Merck Sharp and Dome. It's in BKC. And the Merck German company is in Vikhroli. Okay, it's in Godrej One Tower in Vikhroli. So these are names are similar, but these are two different companies. Remember that one is American, one is German. Okay, MSD is American has a headquarters in New Jersey, and Merck is in Germany. So their headquarters are in Germany, and they have a India office in Godrej Vikhroli. Okay, and just to give you a quick background, Merck's consumer business was sold to P&G, that is Procter and Gamble. P&G being a FMCG company, and P&G sells. P&G has Gillette, has Old Spice, and different brands, Ambipure, and there are multiple other brands with P&G. P&G took the consumer business from Merck, that is Merck Germany, and the consumer business has been now marketed under the P&G Health name. Okay, so P&G Health is a part of Procter and Gamble FMCG company. Okay. That was just to quickly give you a background. Then there are different CROs in India as well. Remember, if you want to apply for different jobs after you have written your CV, if you have done your job search, now you're looking for jobs in QA, QC, R&D, clinical research, PV, regulatory. These are the CROs where you can apply. Okay, IQVIA was formed by the merger of two CROs, Quintiles and IMS. Okay, IMS was the health for. It was mainly into getting the sales data from pharma companies, and Quintiles was always there in as a CRO. So these two CROs merged in November 2017, and the new entity is called as IQVIA. IQVIA has offices in Andheri, in Powai, and in Thane as well, and at Godbanda Road. Then Covance, Cyformix, and Chiltern. So remember that these three CROs have merged, and the new entity is now called as LabCorp. Okay, so these entities still exist. Covance is in Zuinagar in Navi Mumbai, Cyformix and Chiltern. These are the CROs, but the new entity is called as LabCorp. Okay, so when you're seeing a posting on LinkedIn or Naukri.com about LabCorp, remember that LabCorp is the parent American company, and these three companies, the CROs, are a part of LabCorp. Okay, then there is Zero ClinPharm in Waghli Estate in Thane. This is a clinical research company. Paraxel and Icon are also into clinical research, and they're also into PV, regulatory, and the data management domain. Okay. Then you also have other CROs like PPD. There's PPD is in Andheri, Cineos is in Gurgaon and Pune. There's PRA. PRA also has outsourcing kind of capabilities. There's Navitas in Bangalore. Navitas is again a CRO. There is another CRO called as Novotech. Novotech is also there in Bangalore. They also have jobs. Medpace is in Navi Mumbai, so they have also a lot of opportunities in the clinical research and in the data management, PV, regulatory domain. And as you already know, TCS and Cognizant, they also recruit for regulatory, drug safety, and for clinical operations. So TCS is in Vikhroli, Cognizant is in Powai, Mumbai. Okay. Now that we have seen how to write a CV, how to do job search, and which are the companies and the CROs, where you can apply, let us look at the different interview techniques. Okay. Before an interview, always remember that there should be like before the interview, you need to do an homework on the company. What I mean by homework on the company is you need to understand where the company was founded, how old is the company, be it a pharma company or be it a CRO, be it TCS or Cognizant. Understand which all domains they work, and understand how big is that company, how big is that department, how many people work there, how old it has been, and how good they have been in terms of their culture. Okay, so before that interview, try and do an homework on the company. Also try and understand who is going to be your interviewers, as in who is going to interview you. Why I'm trying to tell you this is, you might have some good common points between you and the interviewer. The interviewer might be and we Westcop alumni. He or she might be your previous professor. He or she might be your previous a friend's colleague or somebody whom you already know. So try and do that background check on the interviewers as well. That will really help you, and that will help you to have common points for discussion during the interview. Okay, then there are different options for the interviews. It can be a telephonic interview. It's a voice only interview where you're just going to they are going to call you on your telephone. The HR calls you or the manager calls you, and you will be asked different question. It can be like behavioral questions. It can be like a case study. They will give you different cases, and they will be asked to answer how you will behave in that particular situation, or how you will solve that problem. These will be telephonic interviews. Okay, but remember that we, as a human tendency, we have a human psychology, we tend to lie on a telephonic interview. So remember that, be very careful about what you're talking about during a telephonic interview, because that will definitely help you to crack the interview. So be very specific, be very precise, and we will look at how to behave in an interview in the next slide. Next would be personal interview. It will be a face-to-face interview. You will be called to the company's office, and you will be sitting in front of multiple panel members for an interview. And with your CV and the job search that you have done, you have read the JD, and now they will ask you more about your background, your education, your skills, your capabilities, and what all courses or certificates that you have done, how you will contribute to this particular job, how you will, what you will do in the first 3 months, how you will grow in the next 6 months, or 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. So remember that, be prepared for your personal interview, because face-to-face interviews would be with different panel members. The telephonic or a web interview can also be with different panel members, but it's also very important to be very presentable during a personal interview. Next is web-based interview. It can be from via Teams, it can be via a Google Meet, or it can be via Zoom, and it can be online. So you'll have to be very presentable, sitting in front of your computer. Ensure that his face is very open. Your face is facing the light. It should be, you should not be facing the other way around, that there's no light on your face. So you should be very very much visible, very much audible, and you should be very presentable in during a Google Meet or a Zoom interview. Okay, and post interview. So now that you've already completed your telephonic interview, you've completed your personal interview, you've completed your web based interview, ensure that post your interview you thank the interviewer. Okay, thank him by during the call, thank him after the call, after the interview, send him an email, send him an SMS, thank him for that, thank the person who has scheduled your interview. Do that, and also have follow up questions ready during the interview. The follow up questions can be, what exactly is the job, what exactly do I need to do in this particular job, how would my day look like, okay, in this particular job, who will be my line manager, who all will be my subordinates, how big will be the team, what is the pipeline of the company if you're going into an R&D job, what all things that I'll have to do, if you're applying for a PV or a regulatory or a medical affairs or a clinical research job. So and try and understand more from the interviewer, that what exactly you will be doing in that particular interview. And the last follow-up question that you should always have, post the interview, you should ask the interviewer that, okay, now that I've cleared, now I feel that this interview went really well, what would be the next steps in the interview. So always ask that question to the interviewer, to the HR person, and ensure that you get a follow-up action, and you follow up after a week. You need not follow up immediately the next day. Wait for a week and then follow up. Try and close this particular round, so that the feedback from the interviewer, whether you were selected or not selected. So you can keep on following up with the HR person or with the hiring manager. Okay, now that we have seen how to write a CV, we have seen what is how to do the job search. Now we have seen which are the different interview techniques. Now try and understand how your body language should be during the interview. Okay, now that you are giving the interview, try and do a Reiki. What I mean by Reiki is, let's say you are staying in Daisar, Vasai, Virar, your office is in BKC or your office is in Worli, or let's say you're staying in Ambernath or Ulhasnagar, Dombivli, Kalyan or Thane, and you have to commute every day to BKC or to Lower Parel or to Worli. So try and understand how much you will have to travel daily, or try and do if they're calling you for a face-to-face interview, ensure that you go there, a day prior, and see which are the different routes, to reach there. Whether you plan to take a taxi, whether you plan to take a bus or a train, or you plan to commute yourself by using your motorcycle or your car. Try and do a Reiki, as in how you will reach there, where will you park, where will you get off, and how will you enter the building. So do a Reiki kind of a thing. This basically is an approach which, most of the, film directors use. They go to the place, they understand how exactly they want to shoot the movie or shoot the scene, and they understand that they do the background and do the homework on that. So we need to do that as well, when you're actually going for a face-to-face interview in any company's location. So remember that. That is very important prior to the interview. Now that you have reached the office, you're in front of the interviewers. Let's say the three people who are sitting in front of you, they are looking at you. You will have to maintain, you have to look at them. First of all, look at them. Do not look at your feet. Do not look at the exit door, because they send out these gestures. They send out different signals to the interviewers. Okay, so always look at the interviewers. They face them clearly. Have a very smiling face, and wear good clothes. So power clothing is also very important. Ensure that you're wearing your best clothes for the interview. Even for a web-based interview, or even when you're doing a face-to-face interview, ensure that you're wearing the good quality clothes. They are the best clothes, and you feel very comfortable and very confident when you're giving that interview. So that power clothing is also very important. This gives you a supreme confidence to perform during that interview. So wear your best clothes during the interview. Maintain eye contact. Okay, if there are like three interviewers sitting in front of you, ensure that you look at them at least for 5 to 10 seconds each. So look at this person at 5 seconds, look at this person for 5 seconds, then turn your head and look at the lady for 10 seconds or 5 seconds. So maintain eye contact with each one of them for 5 seconds. Do not stare at only one person, because that will not be a good idea, because the other two people might feel that you are not listening to them, you are not hearing them, and you're not paying attention to their questions. Okay, so maintain eye contact with all of them. Attitude is very important. Try and have very positive and optimistic attitude during the interview. Even if you do not have the right answer, try and say that you do not know, but you will definitely try and learn more about it. And it will once you get the job, you will learn, you will try and grasp all the activities or tasks that are required for that particular job. So try and have a positive attitude. Do not say I do not know and I don't know how to do it. Try and say that you will learn it, and you will definitely try and apply the skills that you learned on the job. Okay, so now that we have seen the CV, we have seen the how to do a job search, we have seen how to which are the different types of interviews. Now we have seen how to what is the body language that we have to have in the interview. Now let us look at the communication skills. Okay, so before even now that you have written your CV, you have applied for your job, you have seen the job postings on different websites. Now when you're looking and reading those job postings, remember that read the job description correctly. Okay, because you need to understand what you will be doing for 8 hours or 12 hours or 14 hours or 16 hours per day in that particular job. So you need to understand what the job description means or what is trying to convey you. So read and understand the JD correctly. Let the interviewer ask the questions. Okay, why I'm telling you that, because I've been an interviewer as well. So remember that when three people are interviewing you or one person is interviewing you, let the interviewer speak. Okay, pause, stop, and relax. Do not keep on talking about it. Let them ask the question. Okay, once they ask question, and once you have answered that question, just stay quiet. Okay, just stay quiet, take a pause. Do not answer more than what he has asked. Okay, and answer only what is being asked. So we'll have to be very specific to what the person is asking you. If he's asking you about educational qualifications, answer only that. If he's asking you about your experience, answer only that. If he's being very specific about your presentation skills, communication skills, be very specific and give those examples to the interviewer. Okay, do not answer everything, because that interviewer will get really frustrated with those answers. Okay, so be very specific. Now again, maintain eye contact when you speak. Okay, do not look at the ceiling, do not look at left and right when you're talking. Look at the person, maintain eye contact, and then you answer. Okay, because when you look up to the ceiling and you're trying to answer, it gives a signal that you're guessing. Okay, you're guessing and you don't know the answer. So there are different books on body languages. You can purchase it online on Amazon or Flipkart. Go through those books. They teach you more about how to understand the body language. Do not cross your hands. Okay, when you are sitting in front of the interviewers, do not cross your legs, okay? Do not cross your hands. Keep them open on the table, okay? That is how you maintain eye contact, and that is how you speak to the interviewers. And so that when they have the CV in their hand, you will be able to easily communicate with an open mind, and you won't be closed to the questions that they have. Okay, so maintain eye contact. Always keep a smiling face at all times. Okay, so when you're looking at the interviewers, keep a smiling face. Do not be worried. Even if you're nervous in your gut, you feel that, oh, I've got so much nervousness, what do I do? But it's still fine. Keep a smiling face. Look at the interviewers, and you will definitely be able to crack the interview. Now that we have looked at the interviews and the communication skills, let us quickly and lastly look at the email etiquettes. Okay, when you're sending out an email or you're applying for any particular job, remember that the subject line in your Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo or Outlook, wherever you're sending that email, the subject line is very important. Ensure that you clearly write that application for so and so post and NINAD SATAM CV attached or CV. Okay, mention a clear subject line. That is very important when you're applying for the job with your CV. Okay, and attach that CV with the email. So don't forget to do that. Then you addressee email. Okay, that email ID is very important. Do not send it to the wrong person. Ensure that you're sending it to the hiring manager or you are sending it to the HR person. Okay, the sender's email ID is very important. So remember that. Keep a note of that when you're sending out an email or applying for a job. Content of that email is very important. Ensure that you mention dear sir, dear madam. In the first para, clearly mention that this is your education, this is your experience, and this is the job that you want to apply for. Okay, once you have written that, ensure that you have a action required. As in, what I mean to say by that is, once you have written your content, the last line should say that I'm very much interested in to apply for this particular role or this particular job or this particular position. I would be glad if you could consider my CV based on my experience and based on my educational qualifications, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Okay, so you need to have an action at the end of your email, so that every email should end with an action. As an action in the sense, the person who is going to receive that email and who's going to read that email should understand what is the action required from their side. Okay, so remember that to put the action at the end of your email. So that is very important. And the last part in that or your email should be thank the receiver. Okay, say thank you, say kind regards, say sincere regards, say best wishes, say warm regards, whatever you want. But ensure that you thank the receiver, that thank you for your time for today, or thank you for interviewing me today, or thank you for your time for answering my queries or concerns. So mention that and thank the receiver, because that is very important. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of the session. But let me quickly give you some good tips on or the success mantras that I've been following for some time. Remember that once you graduate, once you do your B.Pharm, or once you do your M.Pharm, or once you do your PhD, try and become specialist. Okay, specialist in the sense, be a subject matter in that particular domain. Okay, whichever field you get into, be it an R&D, be it QA, QC, sales, marketing, finance, be it PV, be it regulatory affairs, medical affairs, clinical research, become a specialist in that particular domain, or somebody should be calling you up to know more about that particular field. Do not be a generalist. Do not be moving around from PV to regulatory to medical, medical to clinical, clinical to marketing. Don't do that. So you won't become a specialist. You will be called a generalist. Okay, be a specialist. Have thorough knowledge about that domain and thorough knowledge about that department, and become a subject matter expert. Okay, then always have a coach and mentor. Remember that. So a coach, for example, let's say for Rahul Dravid is a coach for Indian cricket team. So the coach is somebody who has played that sport. A coach is somebody who will give you solutions. A coach is somebody who will tell you how to play that shot, or what is the bullseye that you want to target. Okay, so a coach is already who has already done that. So if you want to get into pharma, in regulatory, or in medical affairs, in R&D, or QA, QC, or marketing, spend time with a person who has already done that. He or she can be your coach, because the coach will give you solutions. Okay, but always remember, along with a coach, also have a mentor. A mentor is somebody who's not a part of pharma industry, who can be your friend or colleague from a commerce background, or your friend or colleague, or a relative from a engineering background, or some other background, who will mentor you. So a mentor will give you options. Okay, he or she will tell you which are the other options that you have. They will always be there to support you, because a coach will only be there to support you in your domain, but a mentor will always be there to help you, to navigate. As in, if this doesn't work, what are the other options? Okay, so the mentor will always be there. So always have a coach. A coach can be your, a professor, or your teachers. Coach can be somebody who has spent time in that particular field in pharma. So that can be your coach. A mentor can be somebody who's away from that particular domain. Okay, so always have a mentor as well. This will really help you, in getting in growing in your career. So that is very, very much required. The next quick tip that I want to share with all of you, all your students, is the 3 A's. So remember that acceptance, affirmation, and aspiration is very important. Acceptance in the sense, accept who you are, accept your strengths and weaknesses, accept that if you are, not yet good on your communication skills, build your communication skills. If you feel that you're not good with your presentation skills, build on that. If you feel that you're not good on financial aspects, build on that. Learn about it, read about it. Accept that you don't know, accept that you are planning to learn. So acceptance is very important. Do not compare yourself with your friends, your colleagues, with other students like BACs and other faculty, other streams. So do not compare yourself with them. Just accept what you have done, accept that you would be able to do it. So acceptance is very important. Second is affirmation. Affirmation in the sense, keep on telling yourself positive things. This positive self-talk is very important. Remember that not a single situation will stay as it is forever. It will definitely change. So keep telling yourself that this is only a matter of time, that I'll be successful, I'll be getting that job, I'll be getting my dream company, I'll be getting the work, the kind of work that I love to do. So keep on telling yourself that. So that affirmation is very much required. Then we have aspiration. Remember that happiness will come with progress. As you progress from B.Pharm to M.Pharm or to a PhD, remember that this will definitely help you in the future, and this will definitely help you to aspire and grow in the company. Okay, that is also very important. Next is EDSO. Let me quickly tell you what is EDSO. EDSO are the four good hormones that you have. Those are endorphins, those are dopamine, there's serotonin, and there is oxytocin. So endorphins are released when you exercise. Dopamine is released when you achieve your goals. Serotonin is when you help somebody, and oxytocin is when you are doing social bonding. So these are feel good hormones. So when you complete a task, or when you exercise, these endorphins are released in your brain and you feel good. Dopamine is when you achieve your goals, when you complete your task, the dopamine is getting released in your brain. You buy something online, the dopamine is getting released. Serotonin is when you're helping others, when you're doing some charity work, you're contributing, serotonin is getting released in your brain. Oxytocin is when you're bonding with your friends, with your relatives, with your parents, so that oxytocin is released. So ensure that you are always building on ADSO, and you're not building on the bad hormones, which are like cortisol and adrenaline, because those will create problems. And adrenaline, although adrenaline is high, it gives you a runner's high, but remember that adrenaline is not good for your heart. As in case you are running without a limit, that will also create issues, and that will affect your heart rhythm. So adrenaline is good for in a limited quantity, but not very good when you're doing it excessively. Okay, cortisol is extremely bad, because if you stress on the situation that you are in currently, that will release cortisol and you won't be able to sleep. Without good sleep, you won't be able to have good cognitive skills. Without good cognitive skills, you won't be able to take good decisions. You will be in a bad mood. You will not respond well to your professor. You will not respond well to your friends. You will not respond well to your parents and to your colleagues. Okay, so remember that if you stress, you won't get good sleep. Without good sleep, you won't be able to have good cognitive skills. So try and stay away from bad hormones and try and build on your good hormones. Okay, so that is the another tip from me. ADME, as we all know in pharma, ADME stands for our absorption, distribution, metabolism, and excretion. But just to give you a quick excerpt from our Bhagavad Gita, I'm not really fluent on Sanskrit, so I won't really try and read it. But remember that our Bhagavad Gita says that ADME is there in our Bhagavad Gita. It says that if you have an approach, or the basis that, in the sense, if you are ready to spend time on what you want to become. So the approach is also very important. What you want to be, the doer, you are the doer, the student is the doer, and for being a doer, you need to have the knowledge, attitude, and skills. So you will have to learn from your professors, learn from your teachers, have a good positive attitude, have a good optimistic attitude, gain those skills, learn more from different different friends, learn more from different sectors, learn more from different domains. So those skills will be developed. So you will get those finance skills, you will get those presentation skills. So you learn more and get those skills. So if you have an approach, if you are a doer, if you have the means, so means in the sense, now that you're already getting educated in a good college in like Westcop, and you have the means that you have a placement committee, you have your professor supporting you, all that you have to do is apply and be present and be punctual and be very polite during those interviews. So you, that is the means, that is, you are there, and the education is supporting you, your professor is supporting you, so you already have the means to apply to different companies, and you have to put your own efforts. So okay, so ADME, the E stands for efforts. So once you have your ADME in place, always remember that there will be the D. The D would be the divine hand. It would be something that will push you, and it will be something that will help you to gain that job, or to get that opportunity. So remember that ADME is very important, and the D will definitely be there to help you with the kind of job that you want. Now, the last 2 points is the 2 books that I want you all to read, the students that are attending this session. I want you to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Why I want you to read this is because it gives you an idea about how exactly economics works over in the world. Okay, how exactly the cash flow comes in, how exactly money comes in a company, how exactly the money goes out of the company, and it will also help you to do how to invest money and not to spend money. So this book will really help you to understand the economics, how it's not like a detailed one, it's a very simple book which I want you guys to read. I also want you to read The Magic of Thinking Big. So remember that if you're not thinking big, the smallest thing that you first think will always, you always get that. So if you think big, you will definitely get that. Remember that you should be thinking about what you want. If you keep on thinking about what you don't want, you're sending out a signal to the universe that whatever you don't want will definitely manifest in your life. Okay, so remember that you should think big and think about what you want. Okay, not about what you don't want. That is very important. Okay, so with that, let us come to the key takeaways. I believe I'm still on time. The key takeaways for today's session is: understand the pharma industry. Understand, we have already seen how the global industry looks like, which are the players, the multinationals and the Indian companies. We have also looked at how the Indian pharma industry looks like, what are the challenges that Indian pharma industry has, which are the different domains or departments where you can apply, how you can write a CV, how you can do a job search, which are the different types of interviews, how you need to perform in an interview, what are the communications, the skills that you need to have for the pharma interview. So do that, understand the pharma industry, do your own SWOT analysis. Okay, by SWOT, I mean, what I mean is strengths, weakness, and threats. Draw a 2 by 2 kind of a matrix and write down SWOT. Okay, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Strengths can be that you're good at presentation, you're good at selling, you're good at analytical skills, you're good at finance. Those would be your strengths. Okay, weakness would be that something that you want to improve on. You want to improve on your financial skills, you want to improve on your presentation skills, analytical skills, you want to gain some knowledge, you want to learn some course. Those would be your weaknesses, and you want to improve on that. So put it under weaknesses. Opportunities would be which are with the current knowledge, with the current skills and the current capabilities that you have, which are the job options that you have, which are the further studies or courses that you can do. Those are your opportunities. Threats can be who are your competitors. Okay, who are you competing with, which are the sectors which are competing with your sector that you want to get into. So mention those threats. Okay, remember that. So SWOT is very important, but always remember that invest in improving yourself. Invest in yourself, because always remember the word earning is already present in the word learning. So learning already has the word earning. If you don't learn, if you don't improve, if you don't invest in yourself, you won't be really able to perform and write a good CV, or perform really well in a pharma interview. So do a proper SWOT analysis, understand your strengths and weaknesses. That will really help you during the interview. Okay, then we have understand the job requirement, as we already discussed. Understand the job description really well, so that you will be able to tell very very clearly, and you will be able to communicate very clearly with the interviewer during the interview. Be confident about who you are. Do not be nervous at all. I mean, it's very very natural to be nervous. It's a human tendency to be nervous during an interview, which is absolutely fine. Be confident about who you are, whatever you have achieved, whatever you have learned so far from your lecturers, from your professors, from your teachers, from your school, your colleges, your B.Pharm. Be confident about what you have learned. Be confident about what you want to achieve and communicate it clearly and very, very precisely. Okay. So if you're confident, you will be able to definitely tell clearly to the interviewer what you really want from the job. And he or she will be very clear that, okay, he or she is the person whom I really want to hire. So be very confident in the interview. Last but not least, help others to solve their problems. Okay. First of all, start writing your own journal, start writing and document all your problems, because when you write down your problems, as in when you're writing your problems, ask it as a question. Okay. If you're facing some issue, how can I solve this issue? How can I get some solution for this particular relationship issue? How can I get some solution for this particular your studies academics issue? So when you ask questions and you write it down in your journal, your brain automatically starts thinking about the solutions. And when you start helping others, okay, your mind is always in a solution oriented mode. Okay. So always keep on helping others and to solve their problems, and that will also help you to get solutions for your own problems. Okay. So that is my the fifth tip, that always try and keep on helping others. You will get solutions for your own problems. Okay. So with that, let me stop the session, and thank you everyone for listening. I believe everybody's still there on the call, and now I open the floor for questions, and we can have the Q&A round. Ma'am, I hope I was on time. I see that it's exactly 12 o'clock.
Yes, you are, sir.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, sir.
I will
So,
stop sharing now, and yes, let us go back to our chat. Okay. Okay, I'm looking at. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I see a question from Anand in the chat box. The question is, sometimes first question itself during the interview is the one you least expect. That escalates to the rest of the interview. How to handle such situation? Okay, so thank you, Anand, for that question. So this there generally happens that the first question, it can be not from your technical expertise. It might be something out of the domain completely. For that, you need to be a good listener. Okay, so remember that you should be aware about the type of question that is being asked. It can be a behavioral question. He or she, the interviewer, is trying to understand how you will behave in a situation, or how you will respond to a situation. So remember that if such kind of questions come in which are not for your as per your expertise, you do not have an exact answer for that, try and create a situation where you can answer that in a way which is very neutral. It should not be very positive or very negative. It should be very neutral, and try and answer it in a way that the interviewer, it is very relevant to the interviewer's point of view. Let's say if an interviewer is asking you about PV or QA, QC, regulatory, medical, clinical, so that answer should be from the interviewer's perspective. Or let's say the interviewer is already a manager or a director in that particular domain. What is he or she trying to understand from the answer for that question? So try and understand from his perspective, and try and answer from that particular angle. Okay, so that will really help you. Okay, I hope, Anand, I was able to answer that question. Okay, then I see a question from the West Coast placement. Can do MBA in business analytics after B.Pharm? Yes, there are different courses. There are courses on data analytics. I believe there is a 3 month course in BCP itself, Bombay College of Pharmacy, about data analytics. A business analytics course is also there in MBA. So there, if you want to do full-time MBA from Narsi Monjay and SIS, or if you want to do a general MBA from any institute in Mumbai or India, you will definitely be taught about business analytics. So yes, ma'am. So that is also possible. Then I see a question from Ankita. The question is about, can a person do general MBA rather than farm MBA and still get a management job in pharma? Which MBA would you recommend? Okay. Uh, uh, General MBA is about like a full-time MBA in IIMs, or or on an SP Jain or Jamnalal Bajaj. Those are general MBAs. In those general MBAs, the main focus is on finance and marketing. Okay. If rather than a farm MBA, yes, you can do a general MBA, but remember that you will be competing with the best people, the best minds from engineering, and from IT, from commerce. So you will be competing with them. So remember, if you want to go for a general MBA, you will be competing with the students from other sectors as well. You will definitely gain a lot from them, but remember that the competition will be very tough. So remember, if you're going for a general MBA, you need to be very prepared for about anything that you take up. So that is absolutely fine. You can still do a general MBA and you can get into pharma in a management job, or rather than if you're doing a general MBA, you can actually go to any management job, any management training job in any sector, be it an IT, be it manufacturing industry, be it cars, be it anything else, be it like Reliance, or be it anything else. You can join any company, not just pharma, by doing a general MBA. But if you're doing a pharma specific MBA, you will definitely get a job in pharma, in sales, marketing, supply chain operations, finance, or marketing. Okay. And which MBA I would recommend is, yes, if you score definitely well in CAT and if you get a percentile of 99 and above, I definitely recommend go to an IIM Ahmedabad or IIM Bangalore, because they are the best ones, and you will definitely get a good remuneration or a good compensation package once you graduate from these institutes. But if not, then you will have to at least get around 97, 98 percentile in your CAT or CET, and that by that you will get a job, at least a good MBA from SPJN or Jamnalal Bajaj from Mumbai. And if not, then you'll have to go for an MBA from Naipur or BITS Pilani. They also, I believe, they have a management course as well. And if not, then you'll have to come to the local management colleges like IIS, Chetna, and then the basic ones which are there in Mumbai. So so the topmost ones will always be the IITs and the IIMs, and then there would be the ISBs and the Naipurs and the BITS Pilanis. Okay. I hope, Ankita, I was able to answer that question. Arbaz, okay, thank you for posting that. Can person do MBA and business study after B.Pharm? Yes, I already answered that. Job is available for person who is B.Pharm plus business study. What type of posts are available? Okay, so it totally depends, Arbaz. It depends about which sector you are applying for. Okay, so business analytics can be used in any sector. So business analytics can be used in supply chain, it can be used in manufacturing, it can be used in sales, it can be used in marketing, it can be used in market research. It totally depends where you want to apply. Okay, so jobs are available in all domains after B.Pharm and after doing a B.Pharm and MBA, or after doing a B.Pharm plus business analytics. It totally depends where you want to apply, which domain you like the most. If you like something manufacturing and you want to do more about how to make the manufacturing sector better about by doing like Six Sigma and having less errors in manufacturing, then yes, I would definitely recommend go to a manufacturing. But if you love to go into sales and marketing, then yes, the course with business analytics and going to sales and marketing, that will definitely help you. Okay. Then thank you, Shreya. Then core MBA students are hired by pharma companies as well as pharma MBA students. How do you decide what is better to pursue? Okay. Are hired by, let me understand the question, Shreya. Core MBA students are hired by pharma companies as well as pharma MBA students. How to decide what is better to pursue? Okay, yeah. So yes, I already answered that. So if you're doing a general MBA from a good institute, yes, you will definitely be considered by any company, not just pharma company. You will be considered by any sector and any industry. If you do a general MBA, if you do a pharma MBA, yes, you will definitely be considered. If you have a good background, good experience, good knowledge and skills, you will definitely be considered by pharma companies. But yes, see, the general MBA students will also have an upper hand, because they come from an engineering background or they come from an IT background. So they also have very good. They do have an upper hand on above us, because they are good with their with their analytical skills. They are good with their finance skills. So they come with that. So but if you perform really well in your pharma MBA, if you do well with your finance, if you do well in your marketing, you will definitely be considered as a management trainee in any of the big pharma companies like GSK, be it Pfizer, Novartis, or Roche. You will definitely be considered for that. Okay. Then I see a question from Mukesh. If you get a call from two companies, what is the appropriate way to say no to either of the company? Okay, it totally depends upon which two companies that you're getting a call from. If you're getting a call from two best companies like GSK and Novartis, or let's say Pfizer and J&J, and now you've got the exact same offer from both the companies for both the jobs, then it will be difficult to decide. But if you do not have the same kind of an offer, for example, the roles are the same, GSK and Pfizer is offering you both the same roles, but the salary is different, or if you say see and check with both the companies about how exactly your growth prospects will be, or what are the career prospects that will be in GSK or Novartis, or let's say Cipla Pharma or Sun Pharma or Dr. Reddy's or Biocon. You'll have to understand what are the career prospects in these companies. Okay, once you understand what are your career prospects going to be, then you can decide, if even if the money is less but the career prospects are good in that company, you should opt for that company where your career prospects are good. Do not opt for a company who is paying you more but there are no career prospects, and you will be stagnated in the period of 2 to 3 3 years and you won't have anything to grow and you're anything to learn, and you'll have to leave that company. So when you're choosing that company, try and search for a company who is going to give you a good career prospects, who is going to help you grow, who is going to help you learn in that particular, who is going to promote you. See, whenever you join a company, the company, the salary should be definitely be higher in the next year, and in the coming years you should also get a promotion after like 2 years or 3 years down the lane. So if that is not going to happen in the company, I would say that select a company who is going to give you good career prospects. Okay. So Mukesh, I hope that answers your question. If you have offers, same offers, then it depends totally on you where you want to go. But those are like slightly different offers. Always go for a company which is going to go for a good, you're going to give you a good career prospect. Okay. Then I see a question from Shreya. Okay, for a newly graduated student trying to appear for a competitive visa, is it smart to appear for multiple examinations like CAT, 18, and my private engineering, etc., or is it better to target one particular examination? Okay, so okay, Shreya, thank you for that. So Shreya, most of the time, the exam pattern and the type of questions would more or less be similar for CAT, CET, and MAT and private institutions. So I would definitely recommend that, if you're studying for one, you should also study for the others, because you will, if you study for CAT, your CET and NMAT would be very easy, and the private institutions will be like almost easier than that. Okay, so I would definitely recommend that prepare for CAT, because the CAT is the toughest one. So if you're going to definitely get a good percentile in CAT, like 98 or 99 percentile, you will definitely end up getting a good college. If not, at least with 97, 98 percentile, you will still get a good college with CET. And NMAT you will definitely clear because you have already prepared for CAT, and NMAT would definitely not be as difficult as the CAT exam would be. So you will be able to clear CAT and get into NMIMS and other private institutions. The other private institutions will also have their entrance examination, so you will be easily be able to clear their papers, so you won't have problems with that. So I would recommend that definitely if you're preparing for CAT, might as well prepare for the other exams as well. Or in the current year, if you want to just give the other exams as a mock exams, just give that exam and get an idea. But prepare for a single exam at least for one time. At least prepare for CAT, so the other exams are easier, because they would definitely, the pattern won't be that difficult as compared to CAT. So I would say focus on CAT exam, focus on the CAT exam, prepare for that, and the other ones would definitely be easier and you will be able to clear them. Okay. Shubhang Rao, thank you, Shubhang. How to tackle a question based on strength and weaknesses during an interview? How should the reply be framed? Okay. It totally depends, Shubhang, upon what exactly are your strengths and what so you shouldn't say weaknesses. Okay. When you're talking about strengths, you should be saying that I'm having good communication skills, good your presentation skills, good analytical skills. I'm very solution oriented. I'm able to able to handle different stakeholders at one time. But you'll have to give examples. Okay, the interviewer is going to immediately ask you about, when you talk about your strengths, he's going to ask you about the examples. So be ready with those examples. Even before you're appearing for the interview, write down your strengths, write down on a piece of paper with a pen and pencil, write down your strengths, write down, and don't say weaknesses. Okay, nobody's, even if the interviewer asks you, Shubhang, what are your weaknesses, do not say weaknesses. Respond to him saying that my improvement areas are so and so. Okay, so say that I want to improve on those, I am learning on these aspects, I'm trying to get better on these aspects, and if I given a chance, if I'll given a chance in this particular job or in your particular company, I would definitely do well in that particular role or in that particular job. Okay, so strengths, write it down on a piece of paper and write down all your strengths, try and practice those before the interview. And for the weaknesses, always rephrase that word and say that these are my improvement areas, this is where I'm working on, this is what I'm working upon, and this is what I'm learning. Okay, so don't repeat the word weakness when the interviewer asks you that. Okay, I hope I answered your question, Shubhang. Then I see that Arbaz, okay, thank you, Arbaz. If my achievements are related to sports and I want to apply for a pharma company, so should that be added in my CV? Yes, only if your sports related achievements are extremely good in the terms of you have represented the college for something, you have represented the state for something, you have represented the national as in India for something, then those kind of achievements should definitely be on your CV. But if you have played a local cricket match, or if you have played a match in a school match, in a cricket match, or any of the matches in your school days, you need not mention that, unless it's a very big achievement and you've been a part of like a Ranji trophy, or you've played for a Guile Shield, or you've played for a state level or a national level tournament. So if you've played for these kind of tournaments, yes, do mention them in your CV. But if it's going to be a local one, please do not mention it in your CV, because that is not going to add any value to your prospects of getting that job by the interviewer. Okay. Now, what is the best way to answer weakness question in an interview? Yes. So, Nikita, I think I already answered that. You should not actually use the word weakness. You should always say improvement areas. Okay, learning areas. This is what I'm learning on. This is what I'm trying to improve on. Okay. So always try and answer in that way that you write it down first before even you appear for the interview, and then you answer it to the interviewer. Okay. As a company, student usually see the package. Instead, they should see the career prospects. Absolutely agree, ma'am. So, yeah. So without seeing the package, even be it like 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, do not look at the package and take up a job, because you will be spending your 8 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, your not just your day, your month, your years in that particular company. Remember, the company is least bothered about you. Okay. When you leave the company, they will replace you within a day. Okay. Do not get attached to a company. Do not get mentally, psychologically attached to a company. He or she is not a living entity. A company is an object. A company is not a living factor. Company has board of directors, shareholders, a CEO. People are working in the company, but company itself is not a living being. Remember that. Do not get attached to it. Do not get just see the money and just go for it. Go for a job which you will love to do. Go for a boss who will be supporting you. Go for a boss who will be help you in your career prospects, who will help you learn, and who will help you grow as a not just as a person, but as a good human being. Okay. So I think to answer that question for the package thing, remember to create goals in 3 columns. Write down your goals in 3 columns. The 3 columns should be personal, professional, and social. Write down your goals, what you want to achieve in 2022. What are your personal goals? Be it health, wellness, exercise, hobby. You want to learn a guitar, you want to learn run some exercise, you want to learn piano, you want to learn something like learn quilling. Write it down as in your personal column, that those are your goals for 2022. Professional goals, you want a job in this particular company, this particular role, this particular package, and this particular kind of job that you want. Write down your goals as a personal, professional, and social. Social would be where you want to contribute, where you want to help, where you want to make an impact in the society. Where if you want to go and visit an old age home or an orphanage, that can be part of your social goals. Okay. So make three columns: personal, professional, social. Write down your goals for 2022, and I believe that you will definitely achieve those goals. So the bottom line is, do not go for package, go for career prospects. Okay. Shreya, I see your last question. May I ask you what you answered your interviewer when I asked why should we hire you? Okay. So the why should we hire you should be answered depending upon the what kind of job you are applying for, what is the role, which department you are applying for, and based on that you will have to prepare your answer mentally on the spot. Let's say he or she asks you that question, why should we hire you? We should be telling first your why, what is the education, kind of education that you have learned, what all subjects that you have learned which will help you to solve the problems that they are facing. Always remember, this question of why should we hire you is about a problem that company is facing, or the problem that hiring manager is facing. How will you solve their problem? How will you solve their problems in the first month, in the first 3 months, in the first 6 months, or the first year of your joining the company, after the first 2 years of the joining company? Try and tell them what good you will what value, what kind of value you will add to the table. What are the problems that you will solve? As in, for example, you will make this process efficient. If you are making the process efficient, how will you reduce the turnaround time of something? Okay. As in, something was done in the company for 5 days, with the process that you will develop, it will be done in 1 or 2 days. That will also make that interviewer happy. If that activity was costing around $1,000, now that you're telling the person interviewer that you will try and get that activity done within $500. If you're telling that, if the person is saying that this task of getting the contract signed was taking 1 month, you will try and devise a system or try and create something which is very productive, very efficient, and you will try and solve that problem within 15 days. Okay. So try and give answers to the problems that they have. Okay. Try and, before even going for that interview, understand what are the problems the company is facing, what are the problems the interviewer is facing, which department you are applying for. Try and understand what the department is. So Shreya, once you understand the department, you will understand what the problems these departments face, and that is how you answer. You prepare a solution kind of an approach when you are answering that question. So you will definitely first say about yourself, your education, your qualification, your skills, your knowledge that you have gained, and then try and tell them more about how you will solve their problems. And I can assure you that once you answer in that way, why you should hire you, they will definitely consider you based on the response that you have prepared. Okay. And I hope that I answered your question, Shreya. And thank you, sir. I see a question from Aaron. Sir, what qualities do you seek for in candidates to work under you? Okay, so the most important point that I see for any candidate is the attitude. The attitude that I already mentioned in one of my slides. Attitude is absolutely important. Remember that nobody is going to hire you because of your educational qualifications or your experience or your skills. They are going to hire you mainly about the attitude that you have in the interview, during the interview. They do not know what you do outside work. They do not know what you do after the interview, before the interview. They do not know what you do, right? The 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour that you have with the interviewer is all that you have. Remember, it's all that you have to perform. So the attitude during the interview, it absolutely matters, and that will help you to crack that interview. So be very positive, be very optimistic during that interview. And I would always consider the candidates who are appearing for as a part of my team to have an amazing attitude. I would definitely love to see and get candidates on my team who are solution oriented, who are flexible, who are not rigid, who are always looking for the next solution. How can we make this better? Okay, somebody who tells me that this is Nina, this is how we can make this better. Somebody who tells me that Nina, this we can solve it this way. He or she will tell me that, okay, I'm open for learning. So tell me something new, sir. Tell me something new. What I can learn? How can I grow? How do I get my new skills? So I am looking for somebody who's got an excellent attitude, who is open to learning, who is open to is very flexible. So I'm looking for a person who do that. But it totally depends which department or which company you are applying for, Aaron. If that company wants to do a standardized thing or the same thing, let's say for example a manufacturing job, if you're going to do the same thing again and again and again, then your answer should cater to that kind of role. Okay, if that company wants to do every day you have to do something new, then your answer should be catering to that part kind of question. Okay, so it totally depends. For me, it will for because I'm in a clinical operations department, and I want somebody who is very open and very is solution oriented, because we as a project manager, we keep on facing problems with people, keep on facing problems with process, we keep on facing problems with system, we keep on facing problems with SOPs. So we have to keep on updating ourselves. We need to be very flexible. We need to come up with solutions. We cannot say that, okay, this is a problem that we are facing, we don't know what to do. Okay, so I want somebody who understands the risks in the business, who understands these are the risks and how do we mitigate, what is the plan that we have in place, and how we will be open and how we will solve these problems. Okay, so I think that is I will definitely choose a candidate to work under me. Okay, so I hope that I answered your question, Aaron. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I don't see any more question. It's one of the best session. Okay, thank you, Ankita. And thank you, Kyriakos. Okay, Reshma ma'am, thank you, Irlikar ma'am. And I believe with that, I believe we can stop the session. Okay.
It was
Over.
indeed a really wonderful session, sir.
Oh, thank you, Sakshi. Thank you so much. Yeah, feel free
Now,
to
yeah, sorry.
feel free to add your feedback, as ma'am has already mentioned in the comment and the chat box. Please add your please give suggestions as well if you want to provide suggestions for me how I can improve on my presentation skills. Please feel free to share your feedback. I would be happy to learn from you guys. I mean, you guys are the future of pharma industry. You guys are the future of healthcare industry, and you guys will be one of you will definitely be a CEO of a pharma industry in the future. So remember that, and definitely give the feedback to the college, give back feedback to me as well, and I'll also try and learn from you guys. Yeah.
Yes,
Sir, your
now to
PPT was really great, sir.
Hey, thank you so much, Archit. Thank you so much. I mean, I would love to see all of you personally, face to face. In anytime this COVID restriction goes away, I would love to see all of you in person.
Yes, sir, we wish the same.
Yes. Thank you, Shruti. Yes, ma'am. Rishma ma'am. Hirlikar ma'am.
Yes, Aparna madam, Dr. Aparna will give vote of thanks. So over to
Okay.
you, Dr. Aparna.
Yes. Yes. Good afternoon to all. Respected Principal Madam, Dr. Rajeshri Hirlekar Ma'am, Mr. NINAD SATAM, my beloved faculty members and my dear students. It's my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of Vivekananda Education Society's College of Pharmacy. I'm grateful to Mr. NINAD SATAM for sharing the insights of the current pharma industries, being open enough, explaining well with the career options available after graduation, in a very short period of time, I should say. I'm very thankful to you for sharing the interview tips, the grooming tips, which will positively direct our students to the successful career path. I'm sure, and I'm 100% sure that students have benefited from this today's session. Thank you, sir. I would like to express profound gratitude to our principal madam for constant encouragement and moral support in every event organized by WESCO. I am happy to express vote of thanks to Dr. Rajeshri Hirlekar madam for her guidance and support throughout this webinar. I would like to thank Dr. Reshma Pore for making this event possible with Mr. Ninad Satam and our placement cell student members for their active participation. I thank NDLI to give a platform to organize today's event and our librarian Kirti Bhave. I would like to thank our faculty members for their presence and cooperation. Finally, our dear students for patient listening and active participation in this webinar. Thank you all for being with us. It's been a great pleasure. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am, go ahead. Sorry.
No problem, sir. Sir, go ahead.
No, I was saying thank you so much. I mean, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I would definitely love to, interact with the students in person, like face to face, whenever that happens, and whenever our government allows that. And I think that would help, even the students to interact with me better in a better way, because I believe face to face interactions are more valuable and more easy to understand rather than having an online session.
Yes, sir. Agreed. And we would be actually fortunate enough to have you in person in our college also.
Absolutely. And I would also, I'm absolutely fine with students contacting me via phone, but try and reach out to me only after like 8 o'clock. So I also am doing a 9 to 5 job. So please feel free to reach out to me. If you have any questions about how to, speak in an interview, how to apply for an interview, and what exactly you need to speak, reach out to me via WhatsApp, via a phone call, send out an email. I'm always there on LinkedIn. So, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'll be happy to definitely guide you in the right direction.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Request to our audience, kindly fill the feedback form which is pasted in the chat box, and I all request you all to put on your camera so that we can have a picture for this webinar. Please put on your cameras. Okay, sorry, Dr. Rajeshri Hirlekar madam wants to say something. Madam, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. This is again from VS College of Pharmacy that you have accepted this particular invitation. As you said earlier, actually Dr. Anita had contacted regarding keeping your session, but somehow it got...
No issues. I think we should click a picture before everybody leaves. I see people leaving. Rajeshri ma'am, we cannot hear you.
Reshma. Ma'am, you are not audible. Rajeshri madam.
I think it's only 79 more left, students left. I think there were like, I think 126 in the beginning, I believe. Rajeshri ma'am, we cannot hear you.
I guess our placement cell has taken the screenshots, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So shall we conclude now?
Yes,
sure.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Satam, once again. It was a wonderful session and very lively and interactive, and I'm sure that students will get benefit out of it.
Thank
Thanks
you
once
so much,
again.
ma'am. I'll look forward for the feedback, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye, everyone.
So
Have a
we are
great day.
concluding now, and I'll end the
Thank you
meeting.
so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.
You're welcome.
you,
Bye
sir.
bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello, Kirti, end kar.